What's going on, my babies? Welcome back to another episode of the Spiritual Word. As always, I apologize for any noises in the background in advance and anything of that nature. And I also like to start these off with a disclaimer by stating that these are for entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, to come to your own conclusions, to make your own decisions, to have your own answers. And I believe in your ability to do so, as you've shown me by already clicking on today's episode. You're using your free will. You're going to do it again. You know what it is. So you do that. And before I start, this podcast is called The Spiritual Word. I have audio versions anywhere you can find audio podcasts, and I have a video version of the podcast that goes up on YouTube. They're both The Spiritual Word. I'm your host, Jackie. I upload Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, except for the last week of every month. That's like my mental health recharge week. So let's get into today's episode. I was trying to figure out what else did I miss, but I don't think I missed anything. Thanks for tuning in and tapping in, my babies. I appreciate you as always. Anyways, so we're gonna be talking about manifestation because that's the shit that I find the most fun. And how do you do that? Your personality is driving your likes and dislikes. And your likes and dislikes are driving your motivation. And sometimes your self-discipline can also drive your what did I say? Your life, I guess. And your guides, or like the roadmap that you create for yourself, is your personality, and it's your likes or self-discipline. And it could be a multitude of different things. Sometimes what you hate could also be the map that you're using, or it could be the GPS that you're using to drive to the destination that you think. It's a complicated situation. But basically, manifestation is like you sitting in the car. You sitting in the car is your life. The journey is your life. So you can never get out of this car unless leave this reality. And when you leave this reality, you go back into either nothingness or source or everything. And I believe in everything and nothing. So you go back to whatever you believe in. And while you're driving this car, you have points in the driving of the car where you're like, ooh, I want to go see this site. I want to go do this. I want to go see that. I want to go experience this. And those are what your experiences are. For example, if you're sitting there and you're like, I want $1 million or something like that. That's something that you want to go see in your lifetime. You want to experience that. You want to see that in the flesh. You want to see that in your reality. And your life is this journey where you're just road tripping. You're sitting in a car, you're in a road trip, and the people that are in your reality are the people that are in the car with you. And your soul family, or whatever the case is. And you can switch people out, like people can get in your car and some people can leave your car. And sometimes you leave the car, and other things of that nature, but I digress because that's not what we're talking about. So, you are sitting in the driver's seat of your life because that is your journey. And everybody's life, they're sitting in their own car. But your version of them is also in your car. So, this is a very trippy concept, to say the least. But manifestation, because you're driving your car and you're owning your life, your likes and your dislikes are motivating you to do things, right? If you want to go see a beautiful mountaintop or the beautiful scenery of a beach or something, you'd have to drive to get there. And that's what's motivating you. You're going to drive because you want to see that thing. And that's how you manifest. Your personality is driving you. Excuse me, it's a driving force that gets you to the next step. If you really enjoy sports or basketball or soccer, any sport, right? Then you're going to play that sport. Why? Because you want to experience playing that sport, because to you, that's fun. If singing is something that you find to be fun, that's a driving force in your personality. And you're going to do that thing. So that's what's driving you. And now you're asking, well, how do I manifest? That's the point of why I clicked on here. So manifestation is using those tools to get you to that manifestation. And sometimes it doesn't even have to work like that. Sometimes it can be as simple as, somebody comes up to you and they're like, hey, I'm a millionaire. Can I give you some money? Do you want to be in this whatever? Do you want to be in my movie? Do you want to be in my TV show? Do you want to have a job at my house? It could be as simple as something like miracles happen in your life, right? And everybody has experienced at least two miracles in their life at, I don't know, like a point of like, if you're like 10, I feel like at least two have happened. I feel like at least two happen every couple of years. And you don't even recognize that they're miracles because you're not really focused on miracles themselves. And there's miracles that happen every day, all the time. So it could be through a miracle, it could be through you, I don't know, let's say you really want to be famous and you're naturally good at singing. And you start singing and you post it on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, whatever the fucking platform you love to be on. And all of a sudden people are like, oh my gosh, you're so talented, and you gain followers, and now you have traction in followers, and now you're getting an influx of people knowing your name, recognizing you, so you're getting a piece of that fame. And that's another way that could come to you. Now, your manifestations are something that you have to be creative when you're thinking about these things, because even though you think that, okay, I am a professional, I don't know, fucking rodeo clown or something. I don't know. And you're like, I want to be famous, but the only talent that I have is doing this. Sometimes that's not what's going to be the thing that gets you to the point, or the thing that gets you to your manifestation. Let's say I'm a rodeo clown and I'm like, I want to be famous. I'm going to post me riding whatever, doing my bit on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, on whatever platform, and I don't gain followers through that. And then all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? I don't really want to post it anymore. And then you start posting you in a completely different setting. You start posting you hanging out with your friends, you vlogging basically, or something like that. And that's what blows up, because that's what people want to see, or because that's what people see when they see you, if that makes sense. Like that's they're like, oh, they're really intrigued by this thing that happens to be with you. And so your thing, or your thought of like, oh, I want to get famous through being a rodeo clown, doesn't work, because it's not how things are supposed to play out for you. And sometimes you don't know how they're supposed to play out for you. So that's why I say be creative, in the sense that you don't really know what things are going to work for you and what things are not going to work for you. So it doesn't really matter per se what you're doing, as long as you're having fun when you're doing it. And so manifestation is really just about, you don't know what life has in store for you, because you don't know the future. You don't know what your life is going to look like in a year. You don't know what your life is going to look like in a week. And although you can try to predict, it doesn't mean that that's going to be the exact outcome, unless you're like a medium or something, like you're like, oh, I already know what's going to happen. Like, I already know this thing and this thing. But you don't know definitively everything. Like, even psychics don't have everything laid out for them, or else they just know everything. You know what I mean? So recognize that you don't just have everything figured out, even if you write things in extreme detail. And I know a lot of people who are like, I really like scripting, and scripting is so good for me. Like, it actually works for me. And that's really, really good. But what are you writing about? Are you writing very, detailed stuff where you're like, this is what this looks like, and you get exactly what you want? Because if that's the case, then you probably have like a natural gift for that thing. And that's actually what life has in store for you that you didn't even know it had in store for you. So be kind of flexible and be kind of fluid in the sense that just have fun with whatever you're trying to do because you don't know if that's really what's meant for you. And because you don't have everything figured out or because you don't know everything, then that's exactly where you sit. You sit in this pot of like the unknown, which is life. Life is something that we don't really know. We just like I genuinely don't know how the fuck I got here, but I'm here. You know what I mean? So it really doesn't matter if I sit here and I'm like, well, I went to school, I was 5 before, and I know that I have bones, I know that I have a structure, I know that I have water, I know that I have mass. That doesn't really mean anything. I don't know anything. And so manifestation is a combination of like accepting what you don't know and coming to an understanding of the things that you do know. You don't really know them. So being okay with having life teach you constantly, just because life is going to teach you constantly. Another piece to manifestation is to be flexible and fluid in the sense that you don't know exactly what your life is supposed to look like, even if you have an idea of what you like and what you want to see. And sometimes what you want to see will actually just have a way of being something that's real for you. Like the driving force that people want to manifest cars or money or wealth or um what is it, fame, then sometimes those things are in store for you. It's just not the way that you thought it'd come about. Like if you're a scientist and you're like, I want to be famous for singing or something, and then you try to be famous for singing, and then all of a sudden you flip it and you're like, nah, just do what I've been doing and post a video of me sharing my information and knowledge that I've accumulated, and that's what goes viral. Sometimes you don't always know exactly how things are going to play out, and that's my point. You don't know how things are going to play out, so just have fun and do, what you enjoy doing. And from the feeling of you having fun with life, life will kind of like take that into account and be like, oh, okay, you're having fun, so I'm gonna give you more of that because I give you more of whatever you are currently having. And that's your power of manifestation. Like you get what you are being. And so if you're having fun, then that's what you're being. You're being the fun that you're having. So life will give you more fun. And if you're being sad or if you're being frustrated, then life will give you more of that. Or if you're feeling stressed, then life will give you more of that. Because life only will give you the things that you're asking for and the things like life doesn't have like a language. Your physical energy is the language. And so life is like, oh, whatever is concerning you the most is something that you enjoy the most. That's why I say your personality is usually what drives the car. It's usually what drives your life or your journey. And it only drives your life because you're going to pay attention to the things that you like. You're going to pay attention to the things that you want to see. If you're naturally gifted at singing or dancing or songwriting or video games or driving or football or basketball or soccer or tennis, then you're going to want to do those things because they're going to be fun for you. And if you're doing things that are not fun for you and you're purposefully giving that to you're giving that your energy, life doesn't know what you like and what you don't like. You know what you like and don't like. And if you're constantly feeding your energy to like a stressful situation, life assumes that if you're giving your energy to it, it's worth giving your energy to it. So it'll say, "Oh, this is what you like. Okay, I'll give you more of that." And I think that's something that most people have a misconception of. Or they kind of like miss the mark on that thought. Like life doesn't know what you like and what you don't like, even though you know what you like and what you don't like, which is why whatever, like, I always say that life already knows what you want because you know what you want, which is true, but you don't, like, there's a fluidity there where it's not what, like, because you have free will, life doesn't have to give you just one thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you love hot dogs and you're eating hot dogs every day, life doesn't have to continuously only give you hot dogs because there's so much happening in this experience. There's hamburgers, there's pizza, there's pasta, there's pancakes, there's all these different foods that you could choose from. And let's say your mom really likes to make this, I don't know, this really disgusting dish that you hate. And you're eating it because you're like, I love my mom, so I'm just gonna eat this. And because you're eating it, life gives you more, right? Like your mom's like, "Oh, you're eating it cuz you love it. So I'm going to make it more and more for you." And you're like, "I can't tell you that I don't like this because it's going to hurt your feelings and I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I don't like this and I don't want to eat this." And her assuming she's that you like that food, so she makes you more and more and more and more. And you're like, "No, I don't like this food." But you're not going to say that. That's life itself. Like, that's your power of manifestation. And if you sit there and you're like, "Mom, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really like this. I just eat it because you make it and because I love you." And then she's like, "Oh, okay, well, what do you like? So I can make that." That's how life works. You have to kind of like sit there and be like, "Okay, I'm not gonna feed my energy to things that I don't want to see, because if I feed my energy to things that I don't want to see, I'm gonna see them more often." This is what a lot of people who don't regulate their mental health, that's what they experience, but they don't know how to get out of that because their mental health is kind of like trapping them there. And I find that to be a very complex issue because I feel like you can get out of it, but it takes a long time and it takes hard work and it takes discipline and it takes a lot of self care. And some people are not willing to do the self care just because they don't like it. And like I said, you are going to do things that you like. And if working on your mental health and caring about yourself isn't something that you want to do, it's not something that you enjoy doing, you probably won't do it. Just like if you don't enjoy healthy foods, then you're probably not going to eat healthy. If you don't enjoy exercising, you're probably not going to exercise. If you enjoy doing things that are good for you, maybe you'll discipline yourself into eating healthily or healthy foods, and you'll discipline yourself into working out. But then again, you're doing something that you like. So if you want to manifest, just feed your attention to the things you want to see and invest your energy into the things that you want to see. If you want to get better at something, feed your energy towards improving that skill. And if you want to see, manifestations also kind of work like if you're not looking for it, if that makes sense. You have to invest your time and your energy towards the things you like because your personality is driving the car, and you have to, you really should enjoy your life. So if you're going to be trying to manifest things that you like to do. And you also have to kind of be detached from the outcome that happens. For example, if you're like, I want to be famous for singing, don't care about being famous, just care about singing. Care about enjoying your life right here, right now, because you're not famous right here, right now. That's why you want this thing. So enjoy right now, focus on enjoying right now, and do things that will help you enjoy right now. And if singing is something that you want to invest your time and energy into improving that skill for yourself, then do that, do that, do that, do that. It doesn't have to be like a constant thing. You could still go to work, you still have friends, you still have whatever, your life doesn't stop because of this one thing. And if you're putting a lot of weight to the fact that, like, You're like, I've been trying to be famous for singing for years and years and it just isn't working. The reason why it's not working is because you're so caught up on being famous. And because you're caught up on this idea that I don't have this thing. I don't have fame. Why don't I have fame? And shaking life and be like, why don't I have fame? It's kind of like when little kids throw a tantrum in the store. Now I really don't want to buy you the thing you're throwing a tantrum about. And I feel like that's what life is doing. Life is like a big mom, and life is like, so you like throwing tantrums? I'm gonna give you more of that. And you don't even realize because you're like, well, I thought you were supposed to give me what I like, and they're like, you know, life itself is like, but you're showing me that this is where you want to put your energy. You want to put your energy towards, being a baby, a crybaby to be exact, and crying because you're not famous. And if you continuously do that instead of trusting and knowing that it'll come to you in divine expression, then you're going to get that same energy in return. Like if you're sitting there and you're trusting the universe, this is another thing that plays into the part of manifesting. If you're sitting there trusting, then the universe is going to give you more of that, more of that. You trust me, so that means that I should give you a reason more to trust me. Or if I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm rich even though I'm broke out of my mind. And I'm sitting here and I'm feeling secure. Excuse me. I'm sitting here and I'm feeling so, secure. Then life is going to give me more security. Because I feel secure where I am. Because I don't need any external thing to make me feel secure. I am secure. I am what I'm getting. I am getting security because I feel secure, because I am security. I will get light and get love because I am the light, because I am the love. And the same thing happens if you're like depressed out of your mind. I am that depression. I'm going to be sad, so life will give me more sadness because that's what I am. And that's how manifestation works. You have to physically be the energy that you want to see in your life. And if you want to see fame and fortune, what would that feeling give you? What would that do for your life? Would fame make you feel like you're loved? Because you're loved now. Feel that love. Would it make you feel like you have a sense of community? Because you have community now. You are that community. Life is that community. You can ask life to bring you friends, and it will bring you friends. If you want fortune for the sake of, like, I want to be able to do anything that I want at any time that I want, do that fucking now. But only if you believe these things to be true. Because if you have clashing beliefs, then it won't work for you because you will be focused on the clashing belief. Right? If I'm sitting here and I'm like, I am secure, but I really don't feel secure, life is going to bring me more of that insecurity. Right? Because I am what I'm feeding myself. And I am life. And life is gonna give me more of what I am. And if I'm sitting here and I'm not secure, even though I'm saying I'm secure, and I'm sitting here lying to myself, but I don't truly feel security, life is gonna bring me more of what I am, more of what I'm feeling. If I don't feel secure, what is life gonna bring me? More of that not feeling secure, more of that fear, more of that doubt. And if I sit here and I constantly feed the doubt because I'm like, I don't know how to not feel this doubt. Feel secure. How do you feel secure? What can make you feel secure? If you have $5 in your hand, looking at the $5 and being like, if this is all that I have, am I going to be okay? Well, yeah, I'm alive. And there's a billion pantries that I can go to that will give me food. I can go to a Salvation Army and register to be in a what's it called, a bed. I can sign up for the army. Like, I'm never not gonna be with a roof over my head because I can just sign up for things that are free. Or I can go to a place where people are so kind that maybe they'll just let me stay the night, one night. Or maybe I can just, do something that will help me. You're never not gonna be okay, and the more you reiterate that to yourself, the stronger that feeling will get, and you have to really regulate those things for yourself. So I can't really teach you how to regulate those things for yourself, which I have done in multiple separate videos if that's something you're interested in, or podcast episodes. But you really have to believe what the fuck you're feeding yourself and believe the feelings that you're giving to the world. If you're sitting here and you're like, I'm trying to manifest security, so I'm going to sit here and feel secure, but you don't really feel secure, you're going to manifest what you're feeling. So what is that? Do you feel insecure? Do you feel fear? Do you feel doubt? Because that's what you're going to get. Because life is like, oh, okay, whatever you're being is whatever you like. So I'm going to give you more of what you like, because I'm going to give you more of what you feel. Because what you feel is what you want to see. Although it's not something that you actually do want to see, because you're not really focused on the fact of, like, how am I doing this? Most people are not conscious of the things that they're manifesting, which is why bad things happen to you and good things happen to you, because you're constantly swaying in this pool, or in this wave pool that is emotions. Sometimes you feel good, sometimes you feel bad. So sometimes you will get good things, sometimes you'll get bad things. And if you are constantly on like this all-time high, feeling like nothing could ever touch you, then most of the things that you get in your life are good. Now there's still bad things that happen, but you don't even care. You don't even pay attention to those things, because the feeling of being secure and safe, and being that feeling of like amazing, nothing could touch me, nothing could harm me, I don't even think I can die right now, that is what will overpower all of those things that happen that are so bad. So with that being said, thanks for tuning in and tapping in. I hope that this was helpful in any way, shape, and form, or entertaining, to say the least. And yeah, with that being said, thanks for tuning in and tapping in, my babies. I appreciate you. I love you. You know, go out there and manifest whatever you're trying to manifest, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.